Picture this. It's a dark, relentless, completely rain-soaked night in Flagstaff, Arizona. And right there through the heavy downpour, the neon sign of the abandoned Pine Valley Motel is flickering, just casting these incredibly long, creepy shadows across an empty parking lot. Welcome to our latest explainer. Today, we're taking some deeply unsettling narratives from case files and original evidence reports, and we're breaking them all down so you can see exactly how the puzzle pieces fit together. And honestly, today's source material is an absolute wild ride. It starts out looking like your standard by-the-book missing persons report, but then it just rapidly unravels into something that is entirely unexplainable.
So let's jump right into the cold open, because this immediately sets the stakes for the entire mystery. At exactly 2:47 a.m., a terrified woman named Sarah Collins basically bursts into the motel's reception area. She is frantic. She slams an old motel key labeled Room 12 down onto the counter, leans in close, and whispers these exact words: "If someone asks for this key, don't give it to him." And before the totally bewildered receptionist can even process what's happening or get a single word out, Sarah just turns around and walks back out into the rainy night. She was literally never seen again. Okay. Chapter 1, The Missing Woman. Let's dive into the methodical breakdown of the very next morning when the police finally arrive to search the motel grounds.
Now, investigators are obviously looking for the standard clues, right? The typical trail a person leaves behind. But here is where the standard protocol just completely falls apart. The physical evidence paints a picture of an incredibly abrupt disappearance. Her car, still parked right outside in the lot. Her purse, her phone, left completely untouched. But here is the absolute kicker from the security logs. The CCTV cameras captured her walking onto the motel property, but there is zero footage of her ever leaving. None. The perimeter was entirely secure. So she basically just vanished from a locked environment, which definitively proves she never actually left the property, either on foot or in her car.
Chapter 2, The Room 12 Anomalies. Detective Ryan Walker takes charge of the scene, and of course he immediately zeroes in on Room 12.
So he searches the physical room attached to that mysterious key Sarah left behind. But what he finds, or actually I should say what he doesn't find, is super weird. The crime scene investigators report that the room is spotless. I'm talking absolutely no fingerprints on any surface, no scuff marks, zero signs of a struggle. It's a total blank slate, except for one glaring detail. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer impossibility of this case. Walker finds one single clue, a heavy, old brass key deliberately hidden beneath the mattress. But here's the reality check. According to the owner, Room 12 had been fitted with a modern electronic lock years ago. There isn't even a brass keyhole on that door anymore. So that heavy brass key shouldn't exist on this property at all, let alone be stashed under a mattress. It literally belongs to a completely different era. Chapter 3, The Hidden Tunnel Discovery. So the investigation hits a massive wall. How does an impossible brass key prompt investigators to stop looking at the room and start looking beneath the floorboards? Well, it required a total shift in strategy. They had to move from the visible world into the unseen architecture of the building. Step 1, they pulled the original architectural blueprints of the Pine Valley Motel. Step 2, those blueprints actually revealed something completely invisible to the naked eye, a long-forgotten maintenance tunnel running deep beneath the building's foundation. And then, Step 3, armed with flashlights, the police navigated this dark subterranean maze, pushing deeper and deeper underground until they stumbled upon a hidden room that was entirely sealed off from the world above. And what they found inside that hidden space is truly interesting and honestly, utterly horrifying. It wasn't empty. They found dozens of old motel keys, but these weren't just discarded spares. Each key was meticulously tagged with the name of a missing person. And right there, resting among the names of all these doomed forgotten travelers, was one key specifically tagged with the name Sarah Collins, the exact same woman who had vanished just the night before. Chapter 4, The Manager's Dark Confession. This grim discovery introduces us to the primary suspect, Victor Hale. Victor wasn't just some random drifter. He was the former manager of the Pine Valley Motel. He knew every single hidden passage, every forgotten lock, every blind spot on the cameras. When police surrounded the tunnel, he actually tried to make a run for it. But after a frantic chase underground, he was arrested. And that brings us to this massive number, 15. That is 15 years that Victor Hale lived completely undetected beneath the motel. For a decade and a half, he was basically a phantom living under the floorboards. His terrifying logic? He specifically targeted abandoned travelers because he believed they were vulnerable people who simply wouldn't be missed by society. To operate a criminal enterprise for that staggering amount of time in total secrecy, it's just chilling. Chapter 5, The Impossible Final Twist. Just when the police think they have this neat, logical true crime wrap-up, everything falls apart. See, Victor was surprisingly cooperative once he was caught. He openly confessed to the string of horrific disappearances over those 15 years, but there was one detail that completely shattered the established logic of the case. Victor swore up and down that he had never met Sarah Collins. So the crucial point is, if Victor Hale never met Sarah and didn't take her that rainy night, who in the world left that brass key at the reception desk? How did her name end up perfectly tagged in that underground room? We're suddenly left with this massive, gaping hole between the physical evidence and any logical sequence of events. Months later, the motel receptionist made a decision that would forever alter how we view this entire story. They went back and watched that original CCTV footage again, analyzing it frame by agonizing frame. And here is what the timeline actually showed. 2:47 a.m., Sarah enters the lobby, clearly panicked, and places the key on the desk. 2:48 a.m., she turns around and walks toward the exit. But at 2:49 a.m., this is where our understanding of reality just fractures. As she walks toward the door, she slowly fades into the darkness. The exit door never opens. No shadow ever crosses the threshold. And the police forensics team confirmed this unequivocally. The footage was never tampered with. It was never edited. It leaves us grappling with a terrifying breakdown of reality. Who exactly was the woman on that tape? Was she a victim from years past, somehow trying to warn the living? To this day, no one knows who really left that last motel key. So I'll leave you with this final, chilling thought from today's explainer. Sometimes, the only witness is someone who should never have been there. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep questioning what you see.